I've been thinking a lot about healthcare recently and how lucky I feel to live in a country that provides universal healthcare. And this letter that I've just received from a pen pal in Georgia really highlights that. So I would like to read that to you if that's okay. Dear Charlotte, my solid Gen X upbringing has, until recently, convinced me that I was rather resilient, capable of weathering any challenge life threw my way. In the 55 years I have existed, I have survived a blizzard, a flood, an earthquake, a tornado, a hurricane, sexual assault, a mother who made Joan Crawford look loving and kind, the suicide of my only sibling, and a hellacious divorce. And well, I could go on, but you get the picture. I thought I was smart enough, prepared enough, and tough enough to handle just about anything, even a second Trump regime. But boy, was I wrong. I always considered myself just an average American, a hard-working mother of two, a wife, taxpayer, college-educated, who had a successful 28-year career in my field. I trusted every day in that former life that if anything catastrophic outside of my control happened, I would have the benefit of the system I had paid into earnestly for 3 decades to help cushion the fall. That's who I was in America, until I just wasn't anymore. In December of 2022, while sitting at a traffic light, a man hit my car head-on. Of course, he lacked insurance, so I was never able to fully repair the life-altering damage he caused to my body. The medical issues escalated, piggybacking off one another, until I was fully disabled with a large brain aneurysm. Eventually, I lost my job to the injuries, and as a result, I found myself in the position of being late with my rent for my tiny apartment. I had 10 days to vacate before they were going to evict me. Well, I packed up and stored my belongings and handed my keys in on the 10th day. I had become one of the 770,000 homeless Americans. I sold almost everything I owned, including my car, to pay for medical expenses and just to survive. I applied for federal disability, waited, and prayed daily that it would come through. I had diligently and willingly contributed to our income tax and social security system for more than 35 years, and I was counting on it ultimately for my survival. A lifelong friend opened her heart and home to me in kindness and love to ensure that I would not be shelterless. There is no room for me here now that I cannot engage in their system of taxation, and since I can no longer line their pockets with the fruits of my labour, they have no use for me. People like Brian Kilmeade would like nothing more than to give me an involuntary lethal injection, and apparently that is now acceptable in America, as the man still has his job. Nothing I have learned in life prepared me for what has happened in our country. I wake up every day under a heavy blanket of dread, anxious at the thought of discovering what part of our Constitution and humanity died while I slept. There are moments of such surrealism here now that they force one to dissociate as a means of maintaining sanity. The horror of watching our democracy crumble before our eyes, watching our Constitution burn, piece by piece, right by right, and feeling utterly hopeless against the onslaught is indescribable. It is akin to standing in the middle of a train track in the face of an oncoming train while screaming at the top of your lungs, "It's coming!" Or no one listens to you, or worse yet, they laugh. I once sat so pompously in my conviction of America's greatness. I basked in the protective light of our democracy that shone on me daily. I was fully convinced that we were better than the Germans were in the 1930s. I just knew it could never happen to us because, well, hey, we're America. And then the lights went out.